being perfect. If you haven't already subscribed, click the button on the bottom right, click the notification bell, and you'll be informed when I upload new content. Here I'd like to talk about being perfect and the impossibility of that statement when it comes to acting and living in the world. Often we give up on ourselves because we fail to meet some idealized standard of what we believe we should be. That standard is sometimes given to us in a religious context, if we are so inclined, but it can also be a standard imposed upon us by parents or peers, guardians, which can stretch back to childhood, being perfect for someone else, fulfilling expectations of other, perfection in someone else's eyes, and we then fall below those standards and feel as though we have failed. Being perfect can also come from an inner drive to succeed, perhaps in business or in a relationship or relationships, perhaps in some creative endeavour, and we set ourselves a standard to which we can't meet. We want to be perfect in these different areas of our lives and we fall short. And that leaves us feeling as though we have failed ourselves and perhaps others. So I'd like to take this statement, being perfect, and subtly change it to the perfection of being. Which is a completely different way of connecting with yourself and the world around you. This is dropping down into a deeper sense of being that I would argue exists underneath the layers that we have constructed for ourselves and that have been constructed for us by others. This is the default position before the story of us takes hold, before the conditioned mind runs our life for us, almost or as if on autopilot. And so the perfection of being is our default position. It is our natural place. It exists beneath the layers that have built up over the years. And so we don't have to find that perfection of being. We just have to look beneath the surface drama of our lives and our constructed identity, and it will reveal itself. And this is what I would suggest is becoming self-aware. And that is an inner journey, not an outward journey. And it can happen independently of what is happening in the world. Perhaps it's easier to find at moments of peace, or certainly not a conflicting and chaotic situation or circumstance. if we can find some time in our day to sit and go within and find out what animates us, we may get a sense of that being within that comes before the story of us. And that being isn't personal, it's impersonal. And that is where the perfection of being resides. And the more we can uncover that truth within each and every one of us, the more we can act in the world in peace and harmony and clarity from an internal perspective, and that will then ripple out into the world as small waves that affect others from that inner peace and stillness. And then that inner peace and stillness and clarity is reflected back to us in a wonderful feedback loop. But first we have to drop our constructed identity. We have to look beneath the story of us. We have to go to the I before I am. This inner journey of the I before I am is written about and discussed in my book, No Path to Enlightenment, which attempts to strip one's self bare and find out what is the animating force within each and every one of us. And I would argue that that is the perfection of being, simply living and breathing and recognizing and being aware of what is unfolding in the moment. From that place, then we go into the world. We don't withdraw or hide away or live on a mountaintop or in a cave. We carry on in the chaos of life, but we do it from a place that is already perfect. It isn't an identity, an individual self that believes they are perfect. It is the natural state, the perfection of being. And from that state you can do no wrong. You can only bring peace and serenity into your own heart. You allow that to flow freely into the world, and that has positive effects in your life and in the lives of those around you. But it isn't a skill, it isn't something you can learn, it isn't a way of seeing the world, it's not a concept that you can add to your already overfull persona, your idea of self. It isn't something that you wear like a new shiny suit that can give you an outward appearance of perfection. It isn't that. It is stripping yourself bare and realizing that all those external additions that have been added to you by others and that you have accumulated and worked into the concept of I am, the individual self, all that is in one sense the illusionary surface of your life and plays out as drama, but beneath that is your true essence. And by stripping away the false sense of self, one can drop into that true sense of being, that authenticity that cannot be learned or improved upon, because it isn't something that you have, it is something that you are. And then you reside in the perfection of being, and life unfolds in a much simpler manner without the complexities of the surface level drama of life. life still presents its difficulties and struggles and complexities and chaos, but you meet it from a different place. You aren't trying to prove yourself to be perfect in the face of what life is presenting to you. You are actually in harmony with that presentation, with that unfolding, because you are that life, you are that unfolding, you are that perfection of being.